Hi, I'm Brian Thomas, and I want to talk to you about some of my coaching experiences. Um, Before I get into this example, I want to just dispel a myth. Coaching purists, and textbooks too, will tell you that coaching and mentoring should never be mixed. But that doesn't reflect real life. For example, if I've got expertise in a field that a coaching client is struggling to understand, it doesn't make sense to let them carry on grasping for it for an entire session when a brief suggestion or a piece of advice can set them off on a more productive line of reasoning. Obviously, if you as the coach feel confident the client has the answer within them, then drawing it out by careful questioning is the ideal. Because if you do that, the client will take ownership of it and be more inclined to follow it through. However, in my experience, especially as I've been involved a lot with business, corporate clients are frequently happy to receive suggestions, and the following example shows that. Let me tell you about Tom. Tom, 32-year-old operations director of a family-owned retail business, multiple stores around the South and Midlands. Most of the directors are related to him through his wife. He wasn't part of the family until he married. His previous job was as a store manager with a major grocery group. In autumn 2015, he'd been operations director of this business for 2 years, and the CEO had decided that he should become the new group managing director. But his confidence was low, and he had quite a few concerns about the step up. One of the things he was worried about, he said, although my CEO has announced I'm going to become MD in the spring, he says I seem to lack passion and positivity in management meetings. But I said, well, you told me you had no problems running large meetings and motivating lots and lots of staff in your previous job. So what's different here? Well, he's a lot older and more experienced than I am, and I'm a bit nervous to expose myself to criticism in front of the other directors, especially as 2 of them are my sisters-in-law, and neither of them are particularly happy that I've been chosen to be MD. Okay, well, let's concentrate on the CEO issue first. What could you do about this? Tom said, well, I'd like to have a one-to-one meeting with him to explain what I'm worried about, ask his advice, and hopefully get his support. So I said, well, what's to stop you doing that? He said, well, nothing a phone call wouldn't overcome, I suppose. So he set up the meeting with the CEO, and the CEO said, of course, yeah, I'm quite happy. First of all, to talk about any issues in private. Maybe we should have a mini meeting before the board meeting so we can tackle some of those things in advance. And Tom said, that really, we solved that entire problem. And that was pure coaching. I simply asked him what he could do. The next part was an element of mentoring in this. Tom told me that sometimes there were silences in the meetings and he just didn't know what to say or how to fill the gaps. So I said, well, if it were me, I'd prepare some reserved topics. So they're not vitally urgent, but they're current and you can raise them if there is a gap. And you've got the issue, you've got your prepared position on that issue, and you can get people talking. He implemented that and he said that's really has made the meetings a lot better. Then I go back to classic coaching now. He was experiencing difficulty with the 2 directors who'd been disappointed about his promotion. So I said, what have they said? He said, well, they don't actually talk to me, they talk to my sister, i.e. his wife. Sorry, their sister, i.e. Tom's wife. Well, they're generally disappointment, but also expressing concern that they've not been developed to take on that role themselves. So, again, I said, what could you do to address that? Well, he'd obviously been thinking about this because he said, when I'm promoted, I could organise coaching and mentoring to help them develop into more senior roles. And I suppose right now I could start a series of strategy meetings with them to discuss current issues. That would probably make them feel more involved. Well, he adopted both of those. Obviously the strategy meetings immediately, the other one had to wait until he was promoted. But at our next session, he told me those meetings are working, and the directors who were unhappy are now much more supportive and positive about his promotion. As I said at the start of this, one of the keys to successful coaching is that in many cases the solutions are within the capabilities of the client. You just have to draw them out. But sometimes a little bit of mentoring can be blended into it, and that's what happened here, of course. So anyway, in the spring of 2016, Tom got his promotion, and he gave me this testimonial, which I'll read if you don't mind. I contacted Brian as I wanted some coaching to prepare for my transition from operations director to managing director in 2016. I needed some help bridging the gap between the two, allowing me to explore my concerns and then find actions to overcome them. Brian's been really helpful and insightful, and I've gained a lot more confidence to be able to deliver as managing director. During the sessions we covered 6 different issues, and he helped me come up with actions to resolve every one of them. I'm thoroughly enjoying Brian's help, and I'll undoubtedly continue to use him in the future. TP London. Well, that's the end of that particular example. Check out my website to see what I could do to help you or your organisation fine-tune your business. You'll find me at www.brianthomascoaching.com. Thanks very much. Bye.